What's up, everybody? It's your boy, WJ the Dory, coming at you again for the first time in a long time. I know it's been a minute. It's weird. You know, I thought that I was going to be done with it, but I have to talk about it. I love this shit. I love pro wrestling, and right now, AEW has lit a fire in me that I have sorely been missing for the past, I don't fucking know, year and a half, maybe? Well, maybe the latter half of last year. But I'm saying this to say that I have sat back to watch wrestling for however long it's been since the last time I was like really posting consistently. And honestly, my biggest fear was after CM Punk left AEW. We were going to go through a period where things were going to be rough. It was going to be tough because CM Punk going the way he did, going back to WWE, invigorated this groundswell of doubt that AEW was not a real wrestling organization. Like, they couldn't really, like, they weren't good, they weren't worth it, this, that, and the other. And the anti-AEW crowd were invigorated because they got Pepsi Phil back at home in WWE, and they've been on this great run. They had the Bloodline story, Cody Rhodes and his come up, Punk coming home, and they're riding really fucking high on top of the fact that, they just made major fucking deals, big money moves, which they're WWE, they're gonna make big money moves. And I for a second thought, well, this is gonna be tough because we're gonna suffer for the next 4 months, just people really being down on the product. But I gotta say I was wrong. And I'm saying I'm wrong in the sense that even after CM Punk left, when Samoa Joe became champion, you felt immediately something was changing. Because Samoa Joe's title run, he reminded AEW what the fuck AEW is. He brought back conventions that I, for the longest time, said that we need to bring back. The ranking system, I said we need our ranking systems back. That was unequivocal. Getting Samoa Joe as champion reminded us that this world title means something. And he carried it with all the regality and reverence that a world champion should. And Samoa Joe, in his reign, carried AEW through this slog of a wrestling period where everybody was looking for any and every opportunity to talk down on what AEW does. But no, what happened was we had great matches as we've always had. We've had good stories, and we were establishing new guys. None more over than the rise of Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland is now the AEW World Champion. And I am so fucking happy to see this. You do not understand. Because guess what? I remember this guy as Killshot. I remember seeing him bloody and battered on but on Lucha Underground. Then seeing him go solo to become Shane Strickland on MLW. Eventually become, Shane Swerve Scott on NXT, and doing his thing, becoming the North American champ, and having his own faction, which that faction was lit with him. Hit row, but they dropped him. But then this man goes, signs with AEW, and was quietly just growing. Came in, banger matches. I remember seeing him at Final Battle. Back when it was, who was it? It was FTR versus the Briscoes 1. The same night that Samoa Joe showed up in the new AEW Ring of Honor. The same night where Bandito, it was Bandito versus Jonathan Gresham. And I knew I knew he was going to be the shit when he opened, and his energy and how the crowd was with him and how his charisma just oozed. And then, we see him, becoming a tag team with Keith Lee, then slowly going on his singles run, doing his own thing, becoming a heel. There was the Mogul affiliates, transitioning into the Mogul Embassy, which is the best incarnation of his factions. The Mogul Embassy actually being fairly successful. Him and Nana getting together, and Nana being that final piece to the Swerve makeup. Because I don't care who you are. Yes, Swerve was cool. Swerve's house was the catchphrase. But when you put Nana with him, his goofiness, his dancing, his extraness, but it just helped with Swerve's cool and just grew, especially whenever they were both being menaces. And he was the dastardly henchman, like when they broke into Hangman's house. And that Hangman feud, dude, I knew that he had to be champion after that fucking feud, after their first meetup, because that match, it was bloody, it was gruesome, but the story told was a story told of motherfuckers that really can't stand each other. And then the three-way match with him and Joe and Hangman. And I don't know if Tony, and I want to say Joe, saw it, because Joe ain't no selfish guy. Him being the world champion, I'm pretty sure he didn't know if it would have been a long run or a short run. But he made the most out of his run. And he became a consequential champion. But I think that whenever he had that match with Swerve, they were seeing how everybody talked about it. Swerve, with his promos and his energy and just his man of nature, really just gave away the fact that this has to be the kid. And this is the kid that's probably going to help carry us into the next phase of what AEW has to offer. Because if you don't know AEW, from Double or Nothing up until, depending on how things are going, up until All Out, now All In, maybe still with All Out, but I don't like that one as a weak follow-up pay-per-view. That is the hot period where some of AEW's best wrestling happens. I don't know what's gonna happen, because me and a number of people basically feel as though Wembley might be when Ospreay becomes champ. But I'm not one of those that demands a long reign. Because look at Samoa Joe, like I said, a very consequential reign, a good reign, was not long. And we need to remember that you don't need to have a year-plus long title reign as a champion. It helps if you are carrying, and that's like the best work you put on. And in certain cases, you don't have anyone that you can fall it off to that can help, elevate and rise. Because the last thing you want is to be doing hot potatoing between a couple of guys, because those are the only guys that you have carrying it. But even when you have situations like in boxing and MMA where you have some champs that only do like one or so defense, this reign, and we haven't even had the Dynamite after Dynasty yet. But this reign of Swerve is going to be very consequential for what this year is going to pan out to, especially when it comes to a TV rights deal. I hope Swerve can help light that fire under AEW to get us flaming hot again, because we can. We are the best wrestling product out there, in ring, bell to bell. Women's division debatable, but I want this to be a time of growth for the company. I want it to be a time of growth for the main event scene as a whole, because with Swerve being our champ, there's no reason we need to only be waiting for the Omegas to come back, for the MJFs. We have guys that are so fucking good, they can be elevated. Of course we got Ospreay there. Okada's there. It's only a matter of time before he's getting in there. What about Ricky Starks when he comes back, hopefully soon? What about Malachi Black, who's had amazing fucking matches? Hell, you can take this time to grow more guys to hit this main event scene. But honestly, that's all I want to talk about. Swerve being champ, I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. I just had to get it off my chest because I was feeling the type of way, and I felt like I needed to get myself back into dropping videos, and I think this is something that's worth me talking about. So, hey, if you really like it, help continue the conversation in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to your boy and talk to me, because I will talk back. But other than that, thank you. And hopefully we got more time to come doing this thing. Anyway, it's been No Doubt Bitch, the door. I'm out here. Peace.